Are you ready for the PATS Nation? The only real deal Patriots postgame show. And now, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into the PATS Nation, the real Patriots postgame show presented by Corso and Catone, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Week 7 sees the New York Jets travel to the Patriots and just get the ever-loving crap kicked out of them. 54-13. The Patriots get their first home win of the season. Took 5 of them, but they got the first home win. Chris Corso alongside Mark Catone, and in the booth, as always, joining us is our producer-director, Joe Guarneri, who's playing all kinds of stuff in our ear right now.
It's almost Halloween, Chris. What are you going to do?
He's got us up on YouTube, so make sure you tune in, subscribe, give us that thumbs up. Hey, the live chat is open too, so we want to hear from you on this drubbing of whatever you call it of the Jets. You catch us at Podbean or anywhere you podcast and iHeartRadio app. Give us a call, 855-313-PATS, 855-313-7287, and check us out at Twitter at Corso_. We have so many things, don't we? So many ways to get in touch with us, right?
We do. It's crazy now, Chris. Too many things.
Too many. At Corso_Catone. So have a lot to unwrap here with this one today. Going to have MacMania, Coach's Corner, and, of course, our Sunday Stiff, if we can find one today, Mark. I'm pretty sure that you can. So, Mark, your impressions.
Chris, good win. I'm happy. I think they did it. They played
You're
well.
happy.
I'm happy, Chris. I'm happy. Jesus Christ, it's about time, right? I listen, Jones had a good game. Damian Harris had a good game. I think the defense overall played well. I think, there were some spots where they could have played better, but I think it was a solid win. You needed it. Chris, you're 3-4. You win next week. You're at 500. You're moving close to the second half of the season, and it's time to make a push for the playoffs. As crazy as it sounds, because everybody wrote this team off last week, you win next week, you're 4-4, and you got a shot to make a playoff push. And really, that's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah, for me, and listen, I'm hearing some people right after the game talk about, can you make much of what Mac Jones is doing? And hey, I thought he was good today. I thought it was really good. I only saw one or two bad throws, by him that could have cost him.
Listen, you know what? Those people, you can only play who's on your schedule. So he didn't play bad. He didn't play bad against Tampa. He didn't play bad against Dallas. The Jets are on your schedule. You look like an MVP quarterback against the Jets. You're supposed to. So you know what? The kid did what he was supposed to do. Give the kid credit.
Well, yeah, and
come on.
Against Dallas, he threw the pick 6, but I thought he's put him in the position to win in every single game, and that's my take on today. I like Mac Jones. There's still some things I want to talk about with the defense, and some design flaws, in my opinion, in the secondary. But all in all, I think the offense, played well. Obviously, 54 points on the board. Defense forced a couple of turnovers, and we're going to get to all that. So, what do you say we start with MacMania, Mark? All right, sounds good. Joe, let's have it. $24 of 36, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, Mark. That's a pretty good day. He missed 12. Got somebody else threw a touchdown for him.
No, Bourne for a touchdown, and that was a good conceived play. And and that's something that McDaniels does, right? But listen, Chris, he spread the ball around. What did he hit? 9 guys, 10 guys, 9, I think, again today, right?
Yeah, it looks like and I'll get that as you're breaking it down.
Right, there was 9 guys, and listen, he nothing
11.
deep. He did what he's been doing, intermediate, short routes, because listen, Chris, he doesn't have the weapons to do anything else. People can say whatever they want about Jones. He's doing all he can do with the weapons this team has. Hunter Henry caught another touchdown. And I hate to say it, Chris, your buddy had a heck of a game today. Brandon Bolden.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Your buddy had a good game.
We'll
but Chris Jones is utilizing what he has, I think, and he's trying to maximize what they have and the strengths that they have. And I think he did a good job at that today. He spread the ball out. He threw safe passes, but he threw passes, Chris. What people don't understand is they say, oh, but he's throwing safe passes. But he's throwing passes that to routes that they can run. There's certain routes that they can't run, Chris. You look at these other teams around the league that have a different type of a passing game because they have guys that can do it. It's not that they're not running those passes because Jones can't make the throw or can't make the read. It's because they don't have the receivers to do it. So I'm sick of people saying that about him. That's not why he's not doing that. He's doing what he's maximizing the talent he has around him in 2021. And I'm giving the kid credit for it because I think he did a good job at that again today.
He threw to 11 different receivers today, and I get it. You see 7 attempts, 6 receptions for Brandon Bolden, so you figure, a lot of that out of the backfield. Look, he threw the ball downfield with a lot of touch, precise. There was about 3 balls. One connected with Bourne. It was a beautiful pass. The other one was the 50-50 ball to your favorite guy in the world, Harry, down that sideline.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
What was that, Hoyer?
20-yard pass, 15, 20 yards.
Was that Hoyer or was that
Harry
him?
Was Hoyer. Harry was Hoyer. Jones had left the game, Chris.
But Jones had thrown a couple of deep passes that were on the money, on track. I'm not sure if they ended up in receptions, but the point is they were nice balls. And that ball he threw, that touchdown pass he threw to Bolden, that little bubble out of the little bubble wheel route out of the backfield with all the flow.
That was a good pass, Chris.
Yeah, when all the flow was going that way, that was a beautiful pass. You see a lot of quarterbacks in that situation. They'll throw that. Wait a minute. They'll throw that flat, okay, and not get it over right in perfect to get that running back in stride. And he did it. And Bolden had to do is catch it and go. You know, he was on the run in stride. So I like the way Mac Jones played today. I have no problem with how he played and how his numbers are. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't want to interrupt you. You were in the middle of a thought. So, Chris, Bolden made that pass. You don't want to give Bolden credit. He ran a perfect route. You don't want to give
He ran a bubble, Mark. He ran a bubble wheel. I mean, you can run that. Anybody can run that.
Joe, he don't want to give Bolden credit for anything, Joe.
I asked him last week. Why not? He just doesn't. Bolden's not going to get it.
Mark, that bubble route anybody can run. You know that. If the quarterback's got to put it in stride, and he did it. So many quarterbacks throw it behind. They throw it on. They don't throw it ahead. That was perfect, and that's why I allowed Bolden to get downfield so quickly, because he's not quick at all. So
Jones is doing exactly what he has to do with this offense. This offense, Chris, is not the type of offense you can't run routes that other teams are running, Chris. If you don't have the guys to do it, what are you supposed? McDaniels knows this is all you can do with the set of talent that is around this kid in 2021. Right. Give him credit for trying to maximize that. And Jones like you said, Chris, Jones did a good job today at what he had to do what the game plan was. Obviously, what the game plan was, he did.
He had one ill-advised throw. And it was a rookie throw. He didn't read the linebacker coming across, and he saw Jonnu Smith open on that comeback route. Or that hitch route, and he sees that and that only, where a more veteran quarterback is going to see to the left that linebacker coming across, and he almost threw the pick. Otherwise,
and Chris, he still accurate. Even today there was a couple of instances. Now that you bring that up, that he still is a little slow picking up the read of a blitz or a coverage, but really a blitz, and try to check down out of that. A couple, once he got sacked, Chris, and he took 2 steps back and he got hit immediately because I think he should have checked out of that.
Absolutely.
And he hasn't clicked yet, but that'll come, Chris. He's a smart kid, right? That'll come, but that only comes with repetition and experience.
You have to see, you have to watch it on film. You have to have the experience of seeing everything, get the answers to the test, so to speak, like somebody else has. And but that was one play I was going to illustrate there was that they were into the backfield on that sack immediately. And that, you're right. That's something he's got to check out of, throw a bubble out of it, And then there was one off the edge too that I felt like he should have recognized pre-snap and changed the play. So again, I'd have nothing bad to say about him today. I think he's been doing everything they ask him to do and more. And where he is,
Chris, he threw for over 300 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason for him to throw for any more. The score being so lopsided. So again, I think he's further along than other people we've seen.
Chris, he's further along than the guy he faced today.
Oh my God, So that question we talked about yesterday, Mac versus Wilson. You're starting to really, really gear in the direction of Mac Jones, although it is early.
And Wilson did get hurt today and didn't come back into the game. So, I don't know what's wrong with his
get
knee.
up. Get back in the game.
The kid hurt his knee, Chris. Jesus Christ.
Did you see, just on the side, and then we got to get moving, but did you see Mahomes? He looked like he was Mahomes got hit today so hard. He looked like he was on another planet.
I wonder if he got a concussion out of that.
They have the same record as New England, by the way, and at 3-4, and they don't look. But honestly, they don't look as good.
New England looks better than they do,
right? Because they played well against Dallas. They played well against Tampa, and Miami, like you say, they should have won. So the Kansas City's got issues, but anyway. Mac Mania was presented by Special Sauce Podcast.
And you love it. You love that they got issues, Chris. You love
That's right. Startup finance and drive yourself to success. SpecialSaucePodcast.com. So, Mark, looking at the rest of the offense, let's start with the offensive line. Okay? We've been on them back and forth. I want the backups in. Well, today you had Wynn back, Mason back, Owinu back. To go along with
where the hell is Trent Brown?
Yeah, that what, he's the same lazy slug he was when they sent him over to what was it, San Francisco or Oakland? Sent him back there.
Oakland. They sent him to Oakland.
And he was the same lazy slug he was in Oakland. So this magic they thought they were going to catch on him when he came back to New England. Yeah, he's milking this cow. And I understand it's an injury, but.
Chris, there's no way you can be out this long with a calf. Come on, Chris.
Get on the goddamn field.
If it was that serious of an injury, Chris, they would have IR'd him.
Yeah. And Belichick
because the new IR rules, you only go on for 4 weeks and then you
it's
come
like 3
off.
weeks, something like that. Yeah. I mean, and Belichick, Belichick was kind of an apologist for the O-line a little bit today, talking about Owinu. He was happy with him, how versatile he is. He said, going from left tackle to right tackle is like going across the country or some kind of a, analogy like that.
I don't know about
that. It's so difficult
I don't know about
do.
that.
But that doesn't make Isaiah Wynn any better, does it?
Oh, Chris, I'm glad you brought up Wynn. I didn't think Wynn played well again today. I thought he struggled again today, Chris.
Did you notice? Okay, so Harris, where are my stats, Mark? Where are they?
Here we go. Harris had 102 yards rushing, I believe, Chris. 14
on 14 carries. He averaged 7.5 a carry. Okay,
that was because of Wynn.
No, but wait, Mark, which side of the line they run off today?
The right
side, mostly right side. Started center to right. I mean, honestly. So Owinu then had a good game. Mason, I started to get really pissed off at Mason in the first drive when 2 plays in he has a holding call. I'm like, here we go.
Chris, Owinu, last year, if you remember, Chris, he had a good year.
Yeah, he did. And he's had a bad beginning of the year, but maybe this can be something he builds on.
Yeah.
But Wynn's terrible. I'm sorry, he's terrible. He can't get his fat ass moving on a guy coming off the edge and start shuffling his feet. Okay, the guy's feet don't move.
Chris,
they
let
just
me ask
don't
you a
move.
question, Chris, isn't that a basic necessity of an offensive lineman?
Yeah, good feet. Yes.
Right?
Yes. That's why you don't take a guard. That's why you don't draft a guard in the first round and put him at left tackle. That's why you don't do that, because their feet on his.
I was just going to ask you, could you remind us what round he was drafted in?
Yeah, like 22nd pick of the 20th pick, something like that, of the first round. Yeah. And that was the same draft. They had 2 first-round picks, and they drafted Sony Michel with the last pick in the draft. And isn't that, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that the same draft they could have had Andrews and the linebacker from, what do you call it, Indy, right? Indy? Was it
Yeah,
the
the kid
linebacker
that
from
Indy
Indy or
took.
Dallas? One of
The
those.
kid that Indy or Dallas took. Yeah, I think Indy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, offensive line, they played well. They protected Mac Jones for the most part. I think the sacks that Jones had were probably on him, mostly. I would have to say. I have to go back and look at the film. But it was a pretty
We didn't
even
see
day for
much
them.
of Stevenson today.
We didn't see him at all. He was inactive.
Oh, he was inactive. That's why we didn't see him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was
Will
inactive.
you
I'm
pay
saying to myself,
attention? Will you please?
well, I didn't look at the inactives today, Chris, but I'm
Joe,
saying to
he's in
myself,
his
well, where the
hotel
hell is
suite over
Stevenson?
there.
I'm
He's
not
in
in the
his hotel
hotel
suite.
today. I'm not in the hotel
Well,
today.
today he says, yeah, I'm trained to listen to those things on the stand when people are on the stand, you know? So, yeah, he was inactive today, which is ahead.
Why,
so let's
though?
get to the running backs then. Let's talk about the running backs because that's a head scratcher to
Why
me.
was he inactive? I don't know, Chris.
Well, look, I mean, Bolden, okay.
Yeah, but Chris, you're going to tell me, okay, I was busting your beans a little bit about Bolden, obviously.
Well, he
but
had 6
you mean to
receptions for
tell
70
me-
yards and a touchdown.
You mean to tell me Stevenson couldn't do what Bolden did today?
I think so.
Unless Chris Stevenson is that bad in pass protection. I don't know.
I think Stevenson would have done a little better. I think some of those yards, and I'm not saying Bolden had a good game. Look, he caught six receptions for 7 attempts, but a lot of that was Jones put it right in his breadbasket all the time. That touchdown he had, I told you, you're making fun of me, but that touchdown that he had, he led that bubble screen, that bubble route perfectly.
Yeah.
Bolden did not have to. If Bolden had to move at all, he was not getting in the end zone. He doesn't have the speed to do it or the strength. But Stevenson does. So I'm confused. You know, Belichick's pulling this shit again, Mark, with the rookies, the rookie running backs. Mark, does he think that they just don't have the stamina to go 17 games and he's just kind of
Chris,
managing?
I don't know. I mean, Jesus, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And because Harris has been banged up, Chris, you would think if you're going to go to the bench for Harris, you would at least have Stevenson active. I mean, you're going to go to Bolden if Harris gets because Harris has been banged up. If he's going to come out of the game, you're going to go to Bolden? Really? Because obviously he's not going to go to J.J. Taylor. He's just using right now as a change of pace type of back. I'm glad Taylor was back on the field today because he was put on the in purgatory because of the fumbles. So I'm glad he saw a little bit of action today. But I don't understand why Stevenson is inactive, Chris. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't understand that either.
That is going to be a critique I have of the coaching staff of Belichick today. I mean, you don't activate this kid, really?
Like I said, JJ Taylor showed something at the end too. I mean, he's got that burst. You get him to the edge.
Chris, he has something that no other back has on this team, right?
Yeah, I think so. I thought you were going to tell us what that was.
You just said it. He has a change of pace. He has a burst of speed, right?
He does. No, he does, and that's your guy.
That is my guy.
Mark had that peg. Yeah, you had that pegged a long time with this guy. So I don't know. Listen, we understand that Harris is the lead back. I mean, we know that.
Yeah,
we understand that. This is now his third.
Good.
Yeah, it's his third game in a row with 100 yards, and the average is excellent. JJ Taylor only averaged 2.5, but that was a lot of that in garbage time. So I want to see them together. Who I want to see on the field, and I'm so sick of tired of hearing about Bolden's special team. I know I saw what he did today. I get it. But out of the backfield, any of those guys can get those. I want to see Stevenson, Harris, and Taylor together. Don't you?
I'd like to see them together. I'd like to, but I mean, he's never going to take – Chris, he's never going to make Bolden inactive unless he's injured. Listen, Bolden will be active the rest of the year. I guarantee that. You're never going to see Bolden inactive, so you better get used to it.
So, okay. So, again, the running backs I thought played well. Obviously, both catching and running the ball. Nothing to really complain about there. And the wide receivers, Mark. First the tight ends. You know what's weird? It looked like Jonnu Smith had more than he did.
Yeah, he
only had
did look
2
like
catches.
he had more than he did. But
so
he catches it, Chris. He does have a quick burst if you can get him in the open field. But I don't understand why they don't try to involve him in the passing game more, Chris. If you could get him in the seam, like you don't think he could get yards after the catch?
Yeah, of course I think he can. He did today. I mean, he had 2 catches
I mean,
for
can
52
he not
yards.
understand? Can he not understand how to run a route?
No, I mean, I think he runs them okay. I mean, for a tight end, he's not Gronk. I mean, he's not, Hunter Henry, who runs more precise routes. But I think he had 5. There were 5 attempts. He only caught 2. The one of them was that play that the linebacker made. We talked about Mac Jones. That was his bad. So, I mean, I think they were. It looked like they were trying to get him the ball early. Now, I don't know if that was just design or just him, going with the guy that was, taking what the defense was giving him. But 2 catches, 52 yards. It's inching better towards it. It's still not worth the money you gave him, though. I mean, I don't think, but And then Hunter Henry had the touchdown. So you don't mind the 2 catches on 4 attempts because he had the touchdown, right?
Chris, I mean, Henry caught the touchdown. He's caught touchdowns 1 of 4 straight games, I think. Right? I think it's 4
3
straight games
out of
now.
4, something like that. Yeah.
4. So in the red zone, Chris, we thought he would be a red zone threat.
They let him throw into the red zone today a little bit more, right?
Yeah. So he's been a red zone threat, which we hoped he would be, and he is. So that's a good thing. I still think he could show a little bit more, but Chris, for $100 million, I mean, we scored 54 points. I'm happy. I think Henry played okay today. He caught a touchdown. Okay. Jonnu Smith, a little bit of involvement today, but Jesus Christ, Chris, for $100 million, I still are going to say that's one part of this team that's been a major disappointment. You still got to get more out of those 2 tight ends, Chris, for $100 million.
Especially in the check down. Especially in the check down game.
Right?
Where the hell are the tight ends then?
Chris, in the check down game, explain what should a tight end, how do you get them involved in a check down game? Because our viewers may not know what that means in the check down game. How do you get what is important about the tight end?
So when you're playing that kind of short passing game, check downs are typically backs that'll bleed out into the flat, and that's like the quarterback safety. You throw it there if you don't see anything downfield. But when you're dealing with that, when you're talking about, maybe I shouldn't have said check downs with the tight end, but when you're talking about that short passing game and you're playing against zone, the tight ends just sit down. They just find that hole in the zone in short between 5-10 yards usually. And they just make themselves open. They get themselves there. They sit their ass down. They turn to the quarterback. Quarterback's delivering the ball. That's why I don't understand. I don't understand why they don't have more catches because of that. Now, maybe it's because they're dragging a lot of receivers across the middle of the field. Bourne seems to be now a go-to guy. Listen, Jacoby Myers is his guy. I mean,
no, that's his guy, Chris. That's his guy.
I feel so bad. Don't you feel bad for that kid, though? He's had like 130 receptions in his career. Zero touchdowns.
I know.
They were trying too today.
Chris, they were trying. He'll get one. Chris, how about your buddy Harry today? Caught a touchdown. Caught a nice catch.
My buddy.
Your buddy Harry caught a catch, and then I didn't even notice this. Chris tells me the goddamn stiff hurts his shoulder. One catch.
He fought for that 50-50 ball, which was like unheard of for him. And I think it was a backup defensive back anyway. But he gets that, and then he gets up and he's tapping out for a play because she's pointing to his shoulder.
Chris, wasn't his shoulder what
he sucks.
No, but listen, wasn't that why he was out for 4 weeks?
I don't know. I don't even.
He was
on
IR because he was on IR, Chris, because of the shoulder. Yeah. And Matt, you want to talk about a stiff, a bum? He's nothing but a bum.
Did you watch Brown today for Tennessee?
A little bit. A little bit. I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. Yeah, why do you got to bring that up? Why do you got to? Never mind him. You were at my house.
Because the personnel decisions suck.
Chris,
that's why.
Chris, you were at my house that night of the draft.
Yeah, I know.
My son lost his mind over DK Metcalf. Lost his mind.
He did. He's not lying. He did lose his mind. I thought he was going to break the TV. You had to hold him from throwing stuff. And the kid was right. The kid was right. So,
and of course, Chris says to my son at the time, "Oh, but I like this kid, Harry. He runs good routes." As my son's on the ground.
I was just trying to make him feel better.
My son is out of his mind that they didn't take DK Metcalf.
I was just trying to make him feel better. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's all. Hey, come on. You don't make the people think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. How many hits have I had in the draft?
You know what you're talking about. You have a lot of hits, but when it comes to the wideouts,
I leave it to Mark. Mark's the guy. Mark's the guy for the. You know what though? I give you that, but
nobody
you pretty
can
much pick every.
Nobody can draft a better safety or a corner than Chris, though. I'll give him credit
and
for
listen,
that.
it isn't. Look, the guys we're bringing up. I know we're going a little long on this, but the guys that we're bringing up are SEC guys. I get it that so it's easy to hit on an SEC guy. However, Mark has guys in the second, third, fourth round. Who's the guy? Who's the guy you had in the second or third round that's turned into a money guy? Is it not White? Come on, Morris, something like that. I don't know. He's playing somewhere.
I don't know. I've had so many of them, I lose track.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll get to some of the coaching. I thought the red zone coaching was good. They had 7. Mark, they had 7 touchdowns today. 7 touchdowns.
Listen.
Yeah. They only punted once, I think. And that was almost blocked. Holy crap.
Listen, if they get another, we talked about that yesterday. If they get another punt blocked.
And you know what? And Folk continues to be steady. So listen, offense I thought played well. Now on the other side, we're going to have to talk about the defense a little. And I get the score and I get the numbers, but there's some things
you are just critical of that. Defense,
no, I am.
Chris.
I'm critical of the defensive backs, and it's not going to be any different today. So when we come back, some defense right after this.
How do I get to the point where I understand my passion enough to communicate it outward and dial myself in so that I can craft my own sauce? But you don't have anyone that's going to give you the right advice. Now you do. We've been discussing where we live and what areas do we want to always talk about. And really, it's startup, it's finance, and drop. We are Special Sauce Podcast.
It's startup, it's finance, and it's drive. Right, Joe?
You got it, buddy.
You hear the clicking of the mic. Are you busy over there? This one's drinking coffee.
Oh, man. My pen is run out of ink with all the notes I've been writing down for you, too. Oh my God, this week.
Chris, he's writing down notes for us. He's got music playing in the background like Halloween.
Yeah, and you know what?
The Patriots won. They get an applause.
Yeah. And you know what? Something else that should have come up in the production meeting, of course, to put that wash in. And you know what, Mark? Yeah, he's over there talking, putting the microphone on and off. He was late coming in on that commercial,
too. You guys are worried about the clicking of the microphone. I'm in and out of rooms, closets, hotels. You're lucky I'm on the microphone, for Christ's sakes.
The bottom line, okay, he's over there drinking out of the mug. You brought your mug with you to the hotel room? Hey, at least
I can have a cup of coffee.
At least when you got kicked out of the house, you were able to bring your favorite mug to the hotel suite you got over there. You know what I mean? So listen, back in more Pats Nation, 54-54. Let's say it again, 54-13. Patriots pick up their first home win of the season. And Mark, before we get to the defense, just want to pass along a sad note in the New England region today. Lost a good friend, good member of the media and of the region. Real good guy. Had a lot of colleagues. A lot of people just loved this guy from when he was on the local news in Boston all the way to his writing. Bob Newmeyer, passed away today.
Bob Newmeyer passed away? Yeah. I didn't realize that, Chris.
Passed away today. And the New England lost a good one. They, a guy that was dedicated to that region, Mark, right? I mean,
he really was. And you know what, Chris? He did it all. He used to do Breeders' Cup races.
Everything.
He did everything. He did horse racing. He did sports.
Hockey.
He did the local. He did hockey. He did it all. He really, really, Chris, was a guy that could do any sport. He was so versatile. He was old school, and you don't get people like that anymore,
Yeah. So he will be missed. He was a fixture in the New England sports world, and the New England world did a lot of community service too. So, Bob Newmeyer, we our thoughts and prayers go to his friends and family. We hope he rests in peace. So, Mark, talking about the defense. Now, look, okay, give me your impression. Let's start with the front first. Pressure. Did you think they got enough pressure? And I'm going to pull up some of the stats. So go ahead.
Chris, listen, it's tough to say because I think the Jets are so damn bad. I mean, I don't think they played bad up front. I mean, I think they played well against the run. I mean, as far as pressure, I mean, I think they got some pressure in spots, Chris. I don't necessarily think it was an all-out assault or consistent. I still don't think, Chris, from this defensive front, we have seen what you and I thought we were going to see this year from this team.
Yeah, the best
with consistent pressure from different locations, off the edge, stunting, up the middle, in gaps. I still don't think that's been they've done that this year yet. I'm still waiting for it. I think they have the personnel to do it. Is it because of the coaching? I don't know what it is, Chris, but in my opinion, we have not seen what you and I thought we would see from this defensive front yet with the pass rush. At least I've really been disappointed with that. I'll be honest with you. Judon, yes, he has his games where he's a beast, but I just don't think they're doing the creative things and the things that they could do with this skill set that some of these guys have, Chris, to get to the quarterback.
Now, yeah, they had 2 sacks today, which I really thought they should have had more than that. And they did. They did apply a pressure package. It wasn't like they just were sitting back all day. They
Chris,
brought guys.
It's nothing, Chris, that's like it's not a creative package, Chris, where you're really making the quarterback have to read where's it coming from. I really don't think that's what it is.
No, I didn't see zero look. I didn't see zero look until the other kid into the second half, third, fourth quarter. Then I saw it. But even then, look, the Jets did a good job picking it up. They picked up a lot of pressure. You know, New England was bringing it. No, it wasn't exotic like you're talking about. But there were some subtleties. There were some subtle stunts and games that they were being played on the defensive front. And the Jets picked it up. But I will tell you this: they stopped the tackles for losses. You know, that was pretty impressive today. They had probably 4 or 5 of them at least, where they got to the Jets in the backfield. So they were good. Listen, they were good against the run. And I'll pull up the numbers, but I mean, you know, they only rushed for like 60 yards, something
Chris,
like that.
They're going to get challenged next week. You know that, right? They're playing the Chargers. So I think next week, Chris, what we've talked about, you're going to have to do. You're going to have to bring some creative pressure against that kid because he's that good. They have the kid Eckler out of the backfield. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. Like next week, I think is going to test our defense because it's an offense, Chris, in my opinion, is very similar to what they saw with Dallas. So next week, you could see this kid throw the ball for 400 yards. So what we saw this week against the Jets, even though I think it was okay, I think they're going to have to step it up a notch defensively on the line next week to have success against that team.
Their pressure package, you're right. It's going to have to be a little more creative. I'm okay with throwing Herbert at 0 looks. They did it, when I say 0 look, I mean everybody on the line, everybody in gaps standing up. You don't know if they're dropping, coming. The thing about the Patriots today with the 0 look is they dropped out of it a lot. They didn't bring guys from 0. No. They just dropped and then went it to look like a base. But it's hard because I thought they were good against the run. We've been talking. They got shredded by the Jets in week 2. They rushed for like 150 yards against the Patriots. So they've cleaned that rush defense up over the last several weeks, and so they were good today against the run. And you saw the Jets trying to establish that, Mark.
And we talked about that yesterday on the show, Chris, that the Jets were going to have to establish the run, right? In order for them to do some play action and to do some different things because of what the Jets lacking at the receiver spot. But they couldn't do it. You're right, Chris.
And at linebacker, I thought the underneath coverage. Okay, I'm going to talk about the secondary in a minute. But
go ahead.
No. But
you're dying to get to the secondary.
Did you notice Hightower being out today? Did you even notice it?
No, Chris. I think Hightower's time is done. I think it's time for him. I think Belichick. He's one of those warriors that Belichick. How Belichick has these infinities and attachments to these guys, these warriors, and Hightower is one of those guys, rightfully so. But no, you didn't miss Hightower today. I don't think, Chris.
No.
I just think Hightower, he's on this is it for him. This is going to be his swan song. And no, I didn't notice him not being there today. Did you?
No. I thought Uche made some plays out there.
Bentley was in on a couple of plays, Chris.
Bentley played good today. I mean, Bentley was
he just missed that pick. He just missed that pick, Chris, off the tip, the running back's hands too. He just missed it.
Yeah, and as far as tackles go, yeah, I mean, Bentley's third on the list. I mean, he had 4 tackles and as many tries. He had 1 tackle for the loss. That's that play you were talking about. We flew through. And in this game, you know how I feel. When the defensive backs are making all the tackles and they're at the top of the list, normally I'm pissed off about that. That usually spells trouble. But in this game, it's different because, there was a lot of throwing. They had to throw the ball a lot just because of the lopsided score and what it became. Yeah. But that's, that's double-edged. They threw the ball 42 times. But it's double-edged for me because the defensive backs, Mark, the fact that they're making all those tackles means they're catching all those balls, and,
So, Chris, let me ask you this before you get into your analysis of that.
Yeah.
Because of the lopsidedness of the score, do you think that the intent was, you know how that works, keep everything in front of me. They want to take 7, 8, 9 minutes to score a field goal or a touchdown. That's okay. We're up big. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Was some of that in play today, or do you think that the defense should shoulder some of the blame?
I hate that shit.
No, I know you do. But I'm just throwing it out there. So tell me what you think. You're the secondary guy.
Okay. Here's my thought. I'm gonna try not to talk for an hour and a half here.
Go ahead.
Here's my thought on the secondary. Okay. Well, first of all, and I want your opinion on something before I tell you this. Over the last several years, okay, this team was more of a press-up, pressure team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bring pressure.
I have a theory on this. But
and I think you and I are about to say the same thing. When's the last time you saw who was on this staff the last time you saw Ben Don't Break?
Matt Patricia.
Who's on the staff now?
Matt Patricia.
Okay, so I think you and I are saying the same.
We're on the same page, positively, Kristen.
Listen, I don't know what his job and his function is. I don't know if he's just up there eating pizza and steak sandwiches and all that stuff.
I think he's going to say, Christian, the defensive game plan. Behind the scenes, I absolutely think he does. Because you're right. This is his type of defense, Chris.
I hate more than anything the bend, don't break, keep it in front of you friggin' defense. I hate it. It's a recipe for losing. Okay, I don't care if the score is 16 to nothing.
We don't have the offense to do that anymore.
No. Well, I mean, today they did, but again, Jets,
no, they did, but typically they don't.
Yeah. No, you're right, and I just don't like it. It's a style of play I don't appreciate. I don't like, and I think it just breeds mediocrity. Okay, so today. Now it's easy to say, and I know all the experts, are going to be saying, "Hey, look at the score. That's what you needed to do. Make them go on long drives, all that shit." Look, it's a mindset of your defense. If your defense is going to be, come at you and be that kind of defense, you can't run this shit. When you see the amount of tackles, okay, that our defensive backs had today, okay, you start to say, all right, well, so here's my problem. Mark, who do the Jets have for wide receivers? Just,
nobody of name.
Can you name
nobody?
Them?
No, nobody. Berrios, Mims,
right?
A couple of guys. I mean, nobody was. I don't even know if their best receiver was. I think he may even be hurt. Nobody.
Corey Davis was there. Okay.
Was he playing today? Okay.
Yeah. Michael Carter had 8 receptions for 67 yards and 9 targets. Michael Carter's
a running back.
Yeah, well, he had 8 receptions on 9 targets.
I believe he's a running back. Right?
Yeah, he is, but they lined him out. They lined him up wide a lot of times today. They put him out on the edges. Ty Johnson.
No. You are right, but I just wanted to clarify. He's not even a wide receiver technically.
Right. Corey Davis had 4 of 6 attempts, and that was due to, again, J.C. Jackson steady. Everything I'm talking about, I take J.C. Jackson out of the, my criticism because I think he's
Chris,
playing
great. Let me
great.
say this before you even go on. J.C. Jackson, Jesus,
Say
I wish we had Gilmore on the other side of J.C. Jackson, but I'm going to leave it at that. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, because then they would have been pressed more. Look, I'm yelling at the TV today. Why aren't you pressing these guys? Why aren't you up in their face, playing at the sticks? When I say playing at the sticks, it's this. The first down stick, the mocker. If you're defensive back, it's 3rd and 5. If you're not going to be pressed up, play at the sticks. Play right there and sit. Just sit, and wait for it. A team like the Jets, who suck so bad, okay, and have no receivers that can get downfield and really hurt you, okay? You sit on those routes and you just take them away. You just take the underneath shit away, and they just weren't doing that. The freaking safety was playing 15, 20 yards down the field, Mark, the single high. Why?
Yeah,
it's not like they got Hill running crosses over there.
Yeah,
what
Chris,
the hell for?
I don't know. I don't get it. And on top, and Chris, based on what we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, the Jets receivers, they're nothing. So especially today, you should have played press against these guys. They're stiffs.
They are. At least get it done. At least get
but
the
Chris,
work
I
in.
think part of it, and you brought this up a couple of weeks back. I think part of it too, Chris, believe it or not, I think part of it is to protect McCourty. Because I think, as you said a couple of weeks ago, you made a real good observation. McCourty is playing deeper than he's ever played before because I think he's lost a step and doesn't have the range he used to have. So he has to play a little bit deeper. So
and he's
I
still
think
not getting there.
And he's still not getting there, Chris, right? So that also plays into the play of the secondary because McCourty can't even get there.
Yeah, and he went out today. He got hurt and went out of the game. And once again, you didn't really notice.
Well, I was just going to say, Chris, with the safeties they've got now, I mean, could somebody like Duggar go back there? Or, well, maybe not Duggar, but somebody like Phillips and probably play better than McCourty?
Yeah, he was back there, and I'm interested to see what happens if Ward ever comes and plays for them because he's a guy that can maybe play at corner and kick Mills over to safety because I'm not impressed.
Ward? Who? You mean the rookie?
The kid that they traded for
the kid from Ohio State?
No, yeah, the rookie that they traded Baltimore for. Yeah.
If he ever gets healthy, Chris, you're right. I think that kid could be a real good safety. You're right.
So, I mean, put it this way. When McCourty went out, I didn't really notice a drop-off. Like, he wasn't playing so well that there was a big drop-off when he left the game.
McCourty hasn't played well all year, I don't think. No. He's another guy like Hightower.
No, I think he and Hightower have given all they can at this point. I think that's it for those two guys. Yeah. But Mark, I don't, again, the off coverage, leave it in front of you. If that's not bad enough, if you're going to play like that, Mark, Jesus Christ, will these defensive backs learn how to friggin' tackle? Will somebody on in the secondary? Look, you can watch any NFL game. I'm going to lose my friggin' mind. You watch any NFL game today, and you watch any of this crap going on. Almost every single play, somebody's missing a tackle.
Chris, because they don't practice fundamentals, Chris. Listen. Listen. I'm going to say this to you because you and I have had this conversation. It's not just the NFL, Chris. It's basketball. It's football. It's baseball. Some of the basic fundamental. Well, not so much in baseball. I think just because of the nature of the game, you can't lose sense of the fundamentals. But basketball, Chris, and football, that's a lost art, Chris. It's a lost art. Tackling.
All it is bullet tackling. That's it.
That's all it is.
Run as fast as you can. Run at that guy as fast as you can. Hope you have a good enough angle where he doesn't sidestep you. Okay. And lunge at him with your shoulder and your arms off to the side like this. Okay. Yep. And most times, Chris, a lot of times
these guys all played football for their entire lives. They weren't taught that, Chris, in youth football. So when these guys came up playing youth football and high school football, eventually, they went to college, but that's not how they were taught. So
I teach it.
No, but Chris, listen. I'm going to give a shout out to youth coaches, right? I think most youth organizations, especially in football, Chris, because if you don't teach it the right way, kids are going to get hurt, right?
Yep.
So these guys, when at some point in their youth, learned fundamentally how you're supposed to tackle. Somewhere along the way, Chris, they just don't do it. They lost it. They don't do it anymore. They forgot about it.
No, it's the big hit. It's the big hit. It's to come in, make the big hit, lower the shoulder, get up, do this crap and all that stuff. It's the big hit, no wrap. No, look, it's called Seattle tackling. This is what's taught now. This is what I teach. This is what's taught. Okay, well, you lead with the foot, you lead with the same shoulder, the head is off to the side, you wrap up, and for corners and guys playing on the edge, you gate or roll. You roll.
Why is it called Seattle tackling?
Because the Seahawks developed it.
Okay.
They developed.
Was that with Chancellor and those guys?
Yeah, they developed. Yes, there's a coach over there that developed this. He's the tackling coach,
okay.
And they put out a great video, a great instructional video on how to do this, and it's just safer. It takes your head out of the play, out of the and so that's just not being done. They're not breaking down, or I call it widening the base. They're not doing that. They're not leading with that shoulder, getting the head off to the side. They're not certainly not wrapping up. And the target point is supposed to be the thigh, eyes to the thighs. That's the terminology. Mark, how many guys? Every guy hits up here, right? They tackle up here. And every guy gets dragged for 2 more yards.
Yeah, but to your point, Chris, it's not just the Patriots. It's
everywhere.
If you watch these games, it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere.
My son was watching the game with me today, and he's like, wow. He's like, wow. He's like, how high are these guys going to tackle?
Yeah.
And I told you, this is a kid that looks like the instructional video for Seattle tackling.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, how does this happen at this level? Now, the backs and the wideouts are better today. They can get out of these tackles. But if you're just going to go for the kill shot every single time and no wrap, these guys are too good on the offensive side. So again, I know we're talking and it makes it sound like they lost the game, Mark, but they've got to improve, right?
They're going to improve. They absolutely listen, Chris. It was a good win. It was a solid win. We're happy they beat. But listen, and I think they built off of some of the things they didn't do well last week. I think they did better this week. Again, they played the Jets. Okay, we'll preface it by as they played the Jets. But to your point, Chris, yeah, you scored 54 points, but there's things you're still going to do better, especially, Chris, on the defensive end of the football, especially because you're playing San Diego next week. Well, I'm sorry, I still call them San Diego, the LA Chargers, right? You're playing the LA Chargers next week. I still think they're going to bring out a Charlie Joyner and J.J. Jefferson with Fouts. Fouts don't even know where he is anymore. They're going to bring out Fouts. You want to talk about concussions?
That's right. So lots of improvement yet to go. But we'll take the game. We'll take the score. They blew them out of the water. So it was a decisive statement win. We'll take it.
Yep.
When we come back, Coach's Corner, Mark. When we come back right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout from PATS Nation for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket, or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group. Now back to PATS Nation.
Back in with the Pats Nation, the only Patriots postgame show worth watching. And before we get to Coach's Corner, 28-3, Tampa. I think.
Yeah, listen. What I told you yesterday, Chris. If the secondary gets healthy, it's not healthy yet, but if they get healthy down the stretch, he'll be 2. He's going to repeat. He's going to repeat. You're going to kill yourself, but he's going to repeat. Just for the record.
That's in the second quarter, by the way. And I think he's thrown 3 already. So,
Yeah,
but
he's
that's
gonna
Chicago
get-
sucks, though.
Yeah.
Chicago sucks.
I understand they suck. I'm just telling you, if that you better hope that secondary never gets healthy.
All right, let's get the coach's corner. Joe, let's have it. Mark, I think this is your first coach's corner.
Well, you're going to bring that up? What are you going to, Joe? What you going to bring that up for, Joe? There's no need to bring that up. We're in the middle of a show.
This is your first coach's corner.
Joe.
So no. Hey, listen, I yield to you, Mark. What do you see happening on that field, on that sideline?
Well, Chris, I will say this. I think I got two thoughts, one on each side of the ball. I think McDaniels, Chris, I gave him a little bit of criticism at the beginning of the year, and I think rightfully so, right? But I think he is finally figuring out, even last week, I think they showed signs of this. I think he's finally figured out, Chris, what this offense can and cannot do. And I think he's trying to play to the strengths of the receivers, the running backs, and trying to put Jones in the best position to do well. I don't think not going for it on 4th and 3 or with 1:30 to go in the game last week is on McDaniels. I think that's Belichick as the head coach making those decisions, and I don't think McDaniels has a choice. Bill says we're punting. Where I think McDaniels, if he had the headset on and he was the head coach, they'd be going for it in those situations. So I think McDaniels, Chris, has done a good job, and I think he's starting to get what's going to make this team successful. So I think going forward, Chris, I feel optimistic about where the offense is going. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go back to what we just talked about, Chris. This bend and don't break garbage. If you do that next week, you may end up in a situation like you ended up with against Dallas, and you may give up 400 yards passing to the kid that you're playing next week. You can't do it. So you want to talk about the coach's corner. They're going to have to come up with a different game plan defensively, Chris, and they're going to have to get more aggressive on the defensive side of the ball if you're going to beat teams like that. And then you're going to play Buffalo. You're going to play Buffalo twice yet. You're going to have to get aggressive. You're going to play Tennessee. You're going to have to change your schematic on defense, I think, because I'm still not happy with the defensive scheme. I know the secondary, you brought up there multiple things that you don't like about that secondary, but I still think it comes down to the coaching scheme and what they're strategizing during the week leading up to a game, Chris. That's my take on both sides of the ball, just quickly.
Yeah, no, listen, for defense, it's coaching too, Mark. Play personnel packages. I don't like them in the secondary. Juwan Williams should never see the damn field. Mark, you had
he had to today go, Chris.
Yeah, but you hit it on the head. Miles Bryant came up from the practice squad, and you said it yesterday. Mark was dead on. Kid played well when he was out there. He should be out there instead of Juwan Williams. He played well
the whole preseason. That kid played well.
He should be out there instead of Juwan Williams. I don't like his decisions on who's out on the field. It pisses me off, especially in the linebacking core too. So I don't.
Well, Chris, who is? We don't know who is in charge of this defense. I don't know. Is it Belichick? Is it the son? Is it Mayo? Is it Patricia?
Steve Belichick is like the inside linebackers, something like that. He's like a real specialist. Then Mayo's the inside linebacker. I don't know what Patricia does over here either. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer to that. And really watching the game, you can't really tell. So as far as the head coach this week, it wasn't horrendous or anything. I just don't like the personnel packages. They did, and I get it. And you don't want to show too much of your blitz plan or your blitz packages playing against a crap team like the Jets. I understand that. So maybe that's all this is about. On the other side of the ball, I think McDaniels has gotten a lot better. I will credit Belichick for letting the kid, opening it up for the kid more. I will credit him for that. So,
yeah, okay.
But the only thing that I can say in criticizing McDaniels, I don't understand why you need all these trick plays in this game. I don't like showing those if you don't have to.
You're right, Chris. Those you save when you're in a game against maybe Buffalo and you need a score, right? You're right, Chris.
Right.
You're right.
So, to me, it's a little bit of an uneventful coach's corner just because, they kicked the living shit out of this team today. 50, so it's hard to come down on them. But those are the few little things. But otherwise, they did a good job. McDaniels did a good job. So Coach's Corner was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. And Mark, you ready for Sunday Stiff? Joe, are you ready for Sunday Stiff?
You know it.
Well, let's have it. Okay, Mr. Catone.
My Sunday Stiff, Chris. I was going to say
it's tough at a 54-13.
It is. You and I were texting about this, Chris. So I'm just going to put it out there because I think we kind of agree on this because you and I were talking during the game and we were texting during the game. Isaiah Wynn, Chris.
Yeah, I say you take him. I'll take the secondary.
Take the secondary. I'm going to take Isaiah Wynn because Chris and I were talking about it, and he's like, it's either, and I know Chris is a secondary guy, so I'm going to let him take the secondary. I'm going to go with Isaiah Wynn. I still don't understand why I guess you got to put him on the field because the rest of your backups are so bad. Yeah. But my stiff is Wynn. He's terrible. To Chris's point earlier, they're running to the other side to the right side of the field now because Wynn is so bad. My Sunday stiff is Wynn.
Yeah, he sucks. And I've already said enough about the secondary, about why the tackling stinks. It stinks all across the league, but I don't care about all across the league. I only care about the New England Patriots because, this is the real Patriots postgame show. So the tackling, the secondary, those are my Sunday stiff. Mark, you got anybody who should have somebody that should sit with us today at the table? I'll let you do that.
I'll tell you what, Chris, if I had to let somebody sit with us at the table, I'd have to get a real big table. Because I'd let the offense sit with us today. I think as a group, I think they played well. I think Mac Jones played well. I think Damian Harris played well. I think the receivers did what they needed to do. I would let the offense, other than Isaiah Wynn, he can go sit outside on a park bench. I'd let the offense sit with us today.
I'll give it to Mac Jones and Damian Harris. I'll give it to both of those guys. They can sit and eat with us today. Yep. So, listen, Sunday Stiff was brought to us by Jag Media Productions. And, Mark, it's that time again to wrap it up.
Yes.
Right? Let's get into our 2-minute warning. Joe. So, Mark, wrap this thing up. Put a bow on it.
I'm going to put a bow on it, Chris. Solid win, needed win, played better, came out of the Dallas game. Listen, everybody all week, I listened to all the so-called experts on the flagship station say we were going to come out. We were afraid we're going to lose today. We came out. We did what we were supposed to do. We kicked the shit out of the New York Jets, which is what we were supposed to do. We got momentum. If we win next week, you're 500 and you got a shot the last 9 games to make a playoff push. You know what? Based on what happened the first 6 games, Chris, I'm happy right now. I think we got a chance to make a move.
Mac Jones is getting better and better every week.
Yes, and that's big.
And they've opened it up a little bit more for him and allow him to go down the field. Now they're going forward on 4th down a little more, with him. And he's converting. So you know what? I'm pleased to see that. Yes, what do you take from this win? Because it's the Jets. You take that. Take things like that. Things like they opened up holes for Harris. Keep that going because they're going to need the running game against the Chargers, who we will preview that game on Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England Field, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So there's a good Joe. There was that cheap plug right there for you. Okay. So, but that's it. So that's what needs to happen. It's a good day. We're happy. I know Mark and I aren't screaming and yelling. Everybody's saying, well, Jesus, where the hell is all the entertainment here? Why is Mark screaming?
There was a little bit of screaming. There was a little bit of screaming and yelling. A little bit.
That's all right. Next week we'll talk about home goods on Corso and Catone.
Listen, you guys are still busting my beans because I'm hanging out in different places right now until my construction people straighten things out.
Joe, he got thrown out. Come on. Mark, do you think enough with that now? Nobody believes it. Nobody believes you're doing construction anyway. You know what I mean? So, Mark, some people to thank today. Want to thank the people over at Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success, SpecialSaucePodcast.com, Jag Media Productions, and we want to thank Studio 42 Designs for all your graphic design needs, Studio42Design.com, Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice, and Mountain View Home Watch and Security, Scottsdale's leading home watch and security firm. Joe, you did a pretty good job today. Pretty good. You did a pretty good job today. We'll give him that, right, Mark?
We'll give it to him. We'll give it to him.
Right. Pretty good. We'll give you the pretty good. So join us next week for Pats Nation following the Patriots as they travel to the not San Diego, Mark.
Now, that's a late game next week, 4 o'clock
Los
Eastern
Angeles
time,
Chargers.
right?
It's a
4:25?
4:05. It's a 4:05 Eastern kickoff. Our post-game coverage will follow 30 minutes after that game. Mark and I have all your breakdown for that. And make sure, listen, you tune in again to Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. And that's going to be every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We will preview that Patriots-Chargers game. So for Mark Catone, Joe Guarnieri, I'm Chris Corso. Final score, 54-13. The Patriots get their first home win of the season. It only took 5 games to do it. So long, everyone.